Okay, it's recording. I know it's recording. It says record. Okay.
It's a bit boring, this bit. This bit's a bit boring. I don't know whether you want to record this booting up. Where are we? Wilmington.
Plus, he rocks that thing without a mouse. I like a mouse.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not used to this. Master PLC. Your thing will be much better. So we want the mono program. So this will have a mono program in it, as it's a mono unit. As I said, what you will have on your thing is shortcuts to codes for a specific unit. So it will say Unit 1, so you can go in and grab that code. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. Rather than looking for the correct, or which is the correct program, you just go to the unit number and it will have the correct program in it. Unless somebody starts playing, then you could be in problems. No, this bit takes ages. It now goes out, tries to look for the internet. This is its initial power up. So, as I said, if you had this switch connected wrong, you'd have no lights on at all initially. So this is normal state. So it sits there, and you sits there, and it sits there, and then you start panicking. You go, oh, what have I done wrong?
And then stuff will start happening.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there we go. And now it starts going through its routine.
Self-diagnostics and crap.
Yeah. So they've obviously got programs in them.
That
Yes.
my 20 hertz is.
Yeah. No, that's just an OK. That is.
That's
we
an
haven't.
OK?
Yeah, we haven't got the 20 hertz. We'll program that a bit later.
That'll be the 0, 1, 2, 3 there.
But yeah, this you'll see your 20 hertz come up down here.
Down on the bottom. Right.
Now, one of the things I will say about these, there's a fuse on there, and I have seen that in the past. It's illuminated, but it's not actually a fuse in there. What they are crowbar. So if you've got a dodgy output, it will crowbar and it will come up with fuse. So it's telling you basically one of your outputs is not working.
Right.
The only way to clear it is to power the device down and power it back up again.
Once it crowbars.
And it's not going to tell you what output is having issues with.
Well, you'll probably go, there's a big black line going down the paper, and that'll probably give you a clue to which one it is not spraying.
Wood in column is not.
Sense. Hey, we ain't going to water on this one.
Yeah, so certainly when you get something like that and they said, oh, we changed this to change that, have a look, see whether you got your fuse light on. As I said, power cycle is the only thing.
And these are the same ink rails, left side, right side,
That's
correct?
Yep. That's up for those. I mean, these are fairly straightforward, the inkers. Right, so, here we go. This little irritating little thing. Sometimes.
And is it just a matter of opening an exec file to program it?
Yeah, it's just a case of opening the file and it'll give you the options. Well, this at the moment is occasionally. I want to beat it around the head a few times because this is.
Go for it. So you got circuit breakers for the 24?
Yeah, circuit breakers for the 24. So those will individually power your I/O, your switches, and these devices here.
And this is the 24?
No, that's one I've stolen from you. The 24 volts is the.
Yeah, that was on the shelf.
The gold.
It's basically the one. Yeah, the one in
the gold.
The big, heavy cast iron looking thing.
Gotcha. Not cast iron.
It looks like it.
Feels like cast iron. You're trying to lift it out of
bet.
there. I'll tell you. Remember I was telling you about setting iron?
Yeah, and you said you had to remove.
Waiting for that to do its thing, I can quickly go through the drawings you've got. So you've got your general project information. We've got a drawing office guy who likes to do things, and yeah, what can I say? I'll show it you. You'll never look at it again.
Right.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a guide to what things mean.
Right.
It also, if you want to know what AWG is in metric.
That's important.
That's awesome.
That's important.
Yeah, we better record that.
I might not look at that one.
Hey, they got the same clips for grounding.
Yeah,
Isn't
but-
that nice?
Not hose clamps.
But-
No, not hose
Those,
clamps.
no hose
No, but
clamps.
those are, again...
We can
not
show you
loose.
something later on.
Yeah.
You'll love it.
This is just, I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Tubu, our drawing person, he likes to do things like this. Wait. So let's get to with the useful information. So this is your overall project, if you like. So first off, we've got our press A, press B. It's got our selectable units. Obviously all the compensators that you've got, color comps, numbers of the numbers of the couples, kind of useful for us if we're looking at the database and things like that, but that's all that stands. And you've got your B press, so you know what it looks like. So here is your overall for the Ethernet communication. So this will be down on one side on the, as you say, the ESA box or whatever, and then you have another one on the B press. So you've got A and B press. So should you be having problems with communications to Prima
So this is
desks,
in the VFD panels downstairs.
yeah. So this is where you would start. Check your wiring, and if all the wires are numbered, so you can trace them through.
So selectable units go to both the
Both holders?
ESA cabinets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember what we used to call them? FTG
Now-
cabinets.
Yeah. So also on this drawing is your IP addresses. So for example, what we saw earlier on, 11, that's actually wrong, that's the .io stuff. 11, 12, oh no, wait a minute.
Dave White.
What's happening?
So
I'm aware I'm wearing the wrong color shirt to be in this meeting. But
You are. You'll have to leave right away.
okay.
Do you need us for?
I was just gonna ask whether
right, so yeah, so what do we do? Networks. Well, I was going on about things that if you lost something off the network, you can go into a PC, you can connect up to the network and ping the device to look for it and things like that, you know. So there is information in here on how to do that, but obviously if you've lost something, the first thing you want to know is it actually there. If it's not there, then you're starting to look for where the communications could have broken down. So this is going to give you the clues where you're going. You're not talking to unit 1. You start obviously at the NAT device. That looks okay. You're looking at the switch. You're going back to the desk. Then we'll be looking at tools like the AB links to have a look and see what the desk is telling us. So it's kind of chasing through that process of finding out where the problem is. So this would be the place to start. Prima, again, I don't know if you've had much involvement. You've got the Prima server, which talks to. So what we would generally find if we had a problem with Prima, obviously first you prove your communications, and then what we would try and do is from that desk we would say, can we ping Prima? So we would.
Where is the Prima server?
Prima server's in your server room.
It's in the
Yeah,
computer
so,
room.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, in the computer room.
Okay.
So we've got the IP address here, so you should be able to pop that in, and if you can't see that on the desk, then you've got a problem between there somewhere. So then you're chasing your thing through.
And what we would ping, the address is right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
Okay.
it. Now, if, for example, it is there and you're not talking to it, then you're looking at reboot the desk.
You're right, you have a
that
software, something going on.
hasn't cleared it. So then you may need to reboot the Prima server to get the communications going. I mean, it's a lot better than it used to be, because once upon a time, if anything fell over, you had to reboot the Prima server. And then but nowadays, everybody tells me, oh no, just connect it up and it'll all recover. But okay. Yeah, we believe
Maybe.
it. I believe it. Okay.
If Prima dies, can you still work off the front of the units?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, I mean, it is a press at the end of the day, so if you've got the direct mode there, you do.
You're just off the network.
Yeah,
that way.
that's right. Just that. You're amazed if everybody panics when
And
they-
your fingers don't go
And
through
you
the
can't
membrane
get in
switches.
anymore, right?
No.
Because you're coming through that server.
Yeah. So, okay. One of the other things I will say here, and I should have talked to Dave while he was here. I'll talk to him tomorrow, and somebody remind me if I forget. We always suggest that you have virus protection on your central maintenance and on your server, because those go to the outside world.
Okay.
Right.
What we don't recommend is having our virus antivirus on your desks.
On the-
It'll just slow shit down.
Well, it's a couple. I mean, antivirus is obviously a lot better now, but in the past we've had problems where if it's not set up correctly, then suddenly you'll find the antivirus goes, "Oh, Harlan Simon application. Oh, I don't like
You're
that."
right.
And
We don't like
it's,
you.
Yeah,
Or
and
quarantining your ass.
that's right. Yeah. And so suddenly desks fall over and things like that. So we would recommend put antivirus there. So if you are putting anything onto the press, and using a USB stick, you don't stick it in any of the desks. You go
Right, you have to go through the premise.
go through the thing. So all software that goes onto
or
these
through
units,
the maintenance.
yeah, goes through there. So again, that kind of it details that in there as well. Right, here's a little outlay of our Mac racks. This is to do with the units 3 and 13. We'll look at this in more details. Is that how it is? I don't know. I haven't looked at this in detail. That's definitely there. Going to that. And that's definitely going to an unmanaged switch. Is there another one? I'll have to have a look. Headliners. And again, just an overall picture. Again, if you look at the lettering here, so you've got a WA. So we've got a WA here, unit PLC, going to a managed switch. So that should be going up to your managed switch. WC is going to your point IO. So those numbers there should equate to the numbers on there. Now, there's a nice hardwire thing for you. It may be right, but I'm assuming
That's encouraging.
I'm assuming it was just copied off of what you've already got.
Right.
But all I will say is we haven't changed anything on it. It is still the same as it was. We haven't changed anything.
So this is a start-stop run.
Yeah, this is
safe.
This should be all coming from. Should be a straight copy from your existing drawings. Right. So quality desk. Yeah, that's pretty good. It just tells you there's not a lot in the quality desks. Right, we're back to the unit, and now we get to how these have been laid out, and it wasn't my choice. So these mods that are in here, these things that are in red are modifications we've put in. They've gone back to the main office, so you will be getting another set of prints coming out. But what they do is, that's obviously iMac is the input to the Mac, which was going to be this device here. It gives you information about 21.4. It tells you it's A3. A3 is this number here. It tells you it's S5, so slot 5. If you can count to 5, you'll identify 24E. And 24E is that input there. And that comes from J3 on your existing plug,
Right.
J3. Now that is new. 14 is not is something you didn't have on your old system. So that is a new plug. And the reason for that is it's now picking up the switch on the front of the desk, and it's doing your resets and things like that. So we have kind of, one of the things we did was taking away that the switch
door
at the
switch,
door switch, so it doesn't power down. And also if they switch it off, it doesn't power it off either. So the only way now to power those racks off is the circuit breaker.
Okay.
Right. Is there
So
a
the unit will power down, but the rack will stay live.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, the unit, if you switch off, all will happen is it will disable your
Just
selection.
deselect it, right.
Deselect your selection relay. So all your selection relays will go out.
I'm sure it's something I should know. What does this emblem mean? What is this
It-
square with the triangle in it?
I don't know. Is it in the out? I'll have a look.
input?
It's. You want to get. I wonder if he's got it in here. It'll tell you what it means here. This is where. Here we go. Look. Digital input.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
So that means digital input. That there.
Arrow facing one way is input, arrow facing the other way is an output?
Output. Digital input. Digital output.
Okay, gotcha.
Up is in, down is out.
Except. Oh, that's an input. No, that's an output. Hang on a minute. He's got this wrong.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, he's trying to confuse us.
You can get that fetched for us, right?
Unless he turns it upside down. That's what he's done. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So that's an out. It is right. It's just upside down.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. That's what it means. So one is syncing and one is a digital output. So that actually, here it's syncing.
Okay.
this is good, isn't it? Oh, anyway, but so so it gives you the turbo.
So that front page is pretty important.
Well, now I can tell you that it's all.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so there you go. Oh, Mr. Tubb, I'll wait till I tell Ian how marvellous that was.
So this is an input right here.
Yeah, that's
And it's going to which?
so it's going to this drawing here. So if you get your GOS drawing out,
Okay.
28690, page 3A, which they've just happened to have
That's
a
the next
very bad
page.
copy here, and that's what they've tended to do is we've marked these up. It's a shame that this is so dark you can hardly read it. So all of this stuff in blue has been removed. So we removed that switch. We've removed this switch as it stands in your power supply. So now we've got an MCB which powers your 110 volts. So that's the 110 volts that goes to this rack here, which is the same as you had before.
Right.
So it's the plug on the side. This is now the switch on, off, enable on the door, and that's now just inputs into this
Okay.
point IO. Coming out of it, we've got the selection relays and your valid mode relay. So that is still the same. We are driving it now from this, and it's interlocked. Selection. So 3A97. That's 975. So this is left and right. So this is these. So they're driven by relay outputs. So basically we've got 24N. So as before, you had your 24N coming in here. We've still got 24N coming onto the end of the relays, and if you like, doing exactly the same thing, driving those relays there.
Okay.
Obviously we're using a relay output because you're driving so many relays rather
Okay.
than a...
Yep.
So that's what they've tried to do through this whole thing where they've tied you up. Here's the 24 volts. So your 24 volts again hasn't changed.
Right.
The 24 volts that used to go to your Mac rack still goes to the new HS
Right.
Mac rack. So this wiring is exactly the same as you had before. So again, we haven't changed any of that. So your loading for all of your different solenoids and things like that remains the same. All the connections to the solenoids remains the same.
Okay.
So that's the power supplies. So again, if we look at this one, 4D. So this is our web protection. Web. So this is all we get. So if we can actually look at this 4D. 4D is this. So that will be this input here. So this is our only interaction with the web brake, if you like. We're using that as an input. So we've got 24N, goes through your tosser relay, goes through your web brake relay. And that comes into our system, and with that we drive a message.
And that's what you disabled.
That's all. No, I haven't disabled the message.
Oh, just
What we
the
were.
fact that it turns off the ink.
That's right. What it
Slow
was
inker.
also doing from our point of view was switching off the slow inkers.
Okay.
So I've disabled that, but you're still getting the message.
So you disable it on a unit by unit basis, or do you, once you change the code, it changed in everything?
I've changed it because you have one set of code for. So basically, the same code is going to go in every unit.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, every mono and every deck will
Okay.
have the same code. If somebody at some stage went, oh, well, that'd be a good idea to disable or to enable us, if we had a web brake, let's switch all the inkers off so they're not pumping any more ink.
Right.
Just with a flag, you could actually re-enable it. But at the moment,
Right.
everything is going to be disabled.
Okay.
So it's clutch disengage, again, just an information coming in. All we do is report that the clutch is closed or it's open. We don't do anything else with it. And a similar thing with your ink forms and damp forms. These are our outputs which drive your ink forms and damp forms, and your impressions solenoid.
So we do actually drive those. With
Yeah.
this rack puts the forms on and off.
That's
puts
correct.
the- okay.
Yeah. So that will put your forms on and off. So literally, if it tells me here 4D, so this is 4D. So this is it here. So basically, we're driving these outputs here. So all of those now are coming from our system.
Instead of the card.
That's right. and the impressions is obviously going via a relay, a little bit more current on that, so we're using that as a relay. So you've still got your same interlocks that you had before on the unit, so that
Right, so if
wiring
you
there-
flip all them switches off, it'll
Yeah.
still kill all that.
That's right, yes. Yeah. Right. So the other thing we now look at is not on there, is we look at this tosser relay. So whereas before these were interlinked also with this, we now still use that in the software. So that's now being used in the software, and it's actually in, so if you like, it's in series with these. So that must be in before it will set these outputs. So if you
I can't remember, what's TOCR the acronym for? Do you remember off the top of your head?
what that throw on something or other, throw
Throw
off,
on control relay.
throw
Throw
on,
off.
throw
Throw
off.
off.
Yeah,
Yep.
throw. Yep.
Do we have like a page defining each relay, the name and what function it is?
Someplace somebody did it. If we,
That would
we
be
have it
really nice to
someplace.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we always giggle when we say tosser. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's- yeah.
You're saying toss on. Which one? No, it's not. They're looking at. Oh, TOCR.
It used to be
Okay.
a folder unit. If
Yeah.
you looked in there, it would tell you what that acronym meant.
Yeah. Right. So that's your throw-ons. Fairly straightforward. What's this bit here telling me? 4F, F, F. So not used. Right. This is your ink pickup rollers. Ink forms. So you've got ink forms and ink pickup rollers. That will be. What's that? That's to do with a deck, is it? Tensile. What's that to do with? Why have you got that in there? I'm confused. Unit. Oh, this is a deck. Okay. Right. That's the deck bit. That shouldn't be in here. That should be in the next bit. Take that out.
Kind of confuses us.
Yes, that should be in there.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah. Right.
Spray
Here's
bar.
the spray bar. Again, these are your mask outputs, which are these little devices here. So those are your outputs that you'll be looking at, and they go straight out via these diode devices through this new plug, which you didn't have before. So that's the new plug.
Right, because
which
the
is,
plug used to be inside.
well, it used to be the Smith stuff
Yeah.
from underneath,
Yeah.
underneath the door. So
Now, does this still plug into the same Smith thing
Yep.
under the door, though,
Yep,
right?
yep.
We just did away with the DCMs and all
that's
that.
right. Yep, that's all it is. So it's fairly forward. So all of that is exactly the same as it was. All your wire numbers, codes are all the same. Page packs, ink page packs comes from the little box under the doors, on the doors inside. And these are again exactly the same. So if we look at 6VA is the next thing we need to be looking at. And there's 6V. So 1CR, 2CR, 3CRs. This is your switches which come back into our system. So that's your page pack engaged signals. And 6VA is again all of this information. So that's your wash, run, normal, purge, color change. Ink rail, which is your little switch, and then you've got your ink side normal drive, so that's the one on the door,
Right.
and your solenoid for the ink blade, which comes on and off as and when required. And so that's 10, 13 side. What we've removed is that ink controller. We're now that's the Sprint drive.
Right.
Obviously we're providing the reference for the Sprint drive, so that's both on the same.
The Sprint drive is slow anchor drives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
slow anchor drives, yeah. But we still use the same enable. So we're
Okay.
still using the same wiring on the enable. So if we look at that, as I said, the one thing I hate looking at is what we've done with the inkers, which is this. Ugh, horrible.
Right.
It's so 721. Going back to our 6VA, are we? 6VA 721 is that. So that's ink drive normal, which we know is we now know from looking at the front that's
Right.
an output sync output. And that drives your ink drive normal, so that's going out there. Sprint drive supply goes through a fuse, we can see that, Now what I need to do on this is we need to mark up, because the old drawings and ours haven't really taken into account that the supply for this supply here actually comes from
In
here.
there. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because you had to put that jumper in on the door.
That's right. So I need to make sure that you're aware that that's where that supply comes from. It supplies this down here, and these numbers are all wrong. So there we go. But, so that's our ink drive. So this reference that goes to the ink motors also still comes down to your ink pumps. So we've taken away that frequency to voltage converter, so that's gone now. So that's one less thing to worry about. So we just send in a supply to that, and obviously that's your page pack selection there. Again, all of this is the same, so we haven't changed any of that. All we're showing on this is there's 4 relays we're driving for stops. That's where we're picking up the inputs from. As yet I haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do with those messages, but I'm sure I'll work it out after a few more units, what we're going to do. But again, none of that, nothing else there has changed. That is still exactly the same as it always was. So that's your unit stop circuit. So,
Are you getting an input and somebody hits a unit stop, or you see it in the...
no.
No?
As I said, we may get something from these, but I'm not using it yet because I'm not quite sure how this all works. So what we will end up is, if a stop does go in, we will be identifying. What I would like to do is, if an E-stop or a safe is in, then we would identify it.
And what unit it came from.
what unit it came
Right.
from, yeah.
Got a safe one through.
That'd be really helpful
Yeah, instead of
information.
running the whole breast to find out what's up.
Well, they had one last night on 2, and everybody could see there was a SOPS, but nobody knew where, and
Right.
as it turned out, it was in the arch. Somebody had a big bum or something and hit the old...
Yep.
Yeah, I did that on 5 when I was changing
Yep.
the impression.
It
Someone came out
happens.
and had a safe
It
one. I was
happens,
like,
and you can lose a lot of time trying to find
Yeah.
it.
So that's our throw-on safety. That was the thing I showed you a little bit earlier on in 4D. That's this input here. So that comes into our control. As I said, that's your severer on your mono, which really isn't connected to anything. So we've got a connection, but it's not actually doing anything. So if we look at this is going to yesterday's little problem. Web protection is still exactly the same. So you've still got your web detector driving your relays. Obviously, if you get a web break, which one is it? This one here. That will then drive a web break stop, and what that then does is it's something to do with it all goes around, because what we do, we know severers are there, severer relay. So here we are. So you've got, if it's selected left or right, so that's your selection relays. If you get a web break, that drops in. That is something, I forgot, what's SECR? SECR. I don't know what that is. But I'm guessing that's going to be made.
It's not even CRS.
Yes. Yeah. So, but what I'm basically going to do is it's going to fire your severer through this route. So if that goes, still fires your severer from this. So we have there's nothing from our side. As you see, that unit severer is not fired from the control. It's fired
from the same
From the original
from
circuitry.
the original circuitry. Also, you have your left and right selection, so it could also be fired from the other unit.
Right.
So though that hasn't changed, so that's as it was. So if you've got problems with your web protection, this is where to go. Back to your old drawings. And this is, I think this is a deck one. This is a deck one. Again, wrong place. So here you've got your extra web detectors, and it's the same scenario.
This is pretty cool. He goes through these drawings
Like it's nothing.
Every time that I have to troubleshoot something on a press, it's been a year, 6 months.
Yeah,
since
right.
oh, where does this relay go? I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of pick it up. So so all we do on our control now is you enable certain severers with that. It's the same type of scenario on the HMI. You can enable the severer you want to fire to give you your protection. All it does then is it puts a 0 volts or something. It enables that output, and then should the severer fire, then it enables again. It's all hardwired.
Right.
It's the severer that actually does it.
SACR.
All we do.
Sever enable.
There you go then. So
There you have it.
So that should
Oh
be
yeah, I need a copy of that.
sever
Oh, no.
enable.
Oh, yeah.
That will be driven. That should be driven by something from the folder, I would have thought. So that'll be above a certain speed. I suppose that comes on to enable your severer.
If
I've got one upstairs.
Calvin,
Yeah.
if they don't select
Yeah.
one of their devices,
Yeah.
does it tell them?
Selection folder, whatever.
Like right now, when
Yeah.
you come up, it'll the folder won't, the press won't go above the speed, and I think it actually blinks at them.
Oh right. Okay. No, that's something.
In other words, it has to tell them
Yeah.
you have to select.
You have to
something.
select it, otherwise it's not safe to run the
Yeah.
press.
Okay. All right then. And
I know
can
that.
do no, I didn't know that. Okay. Right. I'll
I
make
guess
sure I
that's
put that
over
in.
a
I'll,
certain speed, it would really wrap up
yeah.
if it breaks.
You know.
yeah.
Yeah. So.
It's like a brick.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
Okay, so that's something I wasn't aware of, and I will fix that little item. I'll pick it on. It's nearly lunchtime, so we'll probably. So let's just quickly finish this bit off. Did my laptop ever do that? Oh no. There we go. Got all that missing.
It went back to sleep again.
Right, let's see whether that happens. Right, okay, so that's that. These are these little tidbits. Keep feeding me those things, because asking those type of questions, because as I said, I was telling Jerry last night, he was saying about, you spec the MCT unit, and everybody said, well, how well it went. I said, well, the thing is, we do those type of units, those 4 highs, all the time.
Right.
They're seeing the old HOs. I mean, I don't know if, I think the last time I did something like this was, I don't know, 10 years ago. I think that, they died out in the UK, in Europe, in
Yeah, we
probably,
bought all the old stuff.
yeah, that's right. And, it kind of in the 90s type of thing. So, yeah. So how the HOs work is it's useful.
A little bit more of a mystery, huh?
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're straightforward, but it's kind of understanding all the little fine things. Right, so that's all. As I said, this is not. We don't need that. That's horrible. We don't need that. Forget it. We don't do that. Right, right. Side lays and circs. So here we have a 10-volt supply, which now comes from there. So that's your 10-volt supply.
Okay.
It's just a little HS inverted kind of a converter. So it's 24 down to 10 volts. So that, yeah, so it just changes. Yeah,
Well, it's just taking this 24 and dropping
Yeah.
it down to 10.
that's right. So it's quite
This
straightforward.
one, you get to this one?
But that's it.
No.
This is what gives you your 20 hertz for your spray bar pattern.
Right.
Just 20 hertz.
Sprint
20
drives.
hertz, all the time, any speed.
Yeah. You've got your setup procedure for your sprint drives in the book there. There's also information here, but what I will give you and what you will have is to get together some of this.
Good job of not tripping over the wires.
Yeah. So you'll want this little pamphlet. It's a little bit of information on the sprint drives, gives you a little bit more information if you are chasing faults with it. It tells you what all the terminals do.
And we should have enough sprint drives that everybody can have a copy of
Oh
that.
yeah, you've got everyone comes with one of these.
Everybody can have 2, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact.
And that's your 10-volt power
Bunch of them.
supplies that you've got for your compensators.
Cool. Yeah, the guys like having their own set of files. So
All
it's
right,
cool.
okay.
That way we can scribble and you don't mess
Yeah.
everybody else up.
Yep. Right.
You can't give it I've had this thing since 1980.
Yeah. Right, so that's off. So what's
You know,
that
we have a
one?
copy
Oh, yeah.
machine. You don't have to surrender it.
Right.
It's all right. We'll work it out.
Yeah, this is the ink control now. Fuses from the ink, and Jerry pointed out you've also is double fused now because that goes to some fuses in the panel
Right.
that is already there.
Mounted on the door.
Yeah, mounted on the door. So there is fuses in our system as well as the other system. So
Where are the fuses in your system?
they will
Physically.
be there.
Okay.
So that's for each page. So you've got
Okay.
each of these units. So each 16 has a fuse.
Okay.
So as I said, if you do lose ink control to something, a page pack,
Right, goes or something.
have a look at the fuses. If it isn't on the one underneath, it may be one of those ones. So it's nice to be. And there's our 20 hertz device, and our NAT router.
So you've explained a couple times before, and I don't know if you want to get
Yeah.
into it right now. Each two spray nozzles has a reset device on it to shut the nozzle off.
Yes.
You want to cover that later when we cover the damping
Yeah,
system?
I think it's
Okay.
yeah. As I said, that'll we'll cover that then.
Okay.
Right, one more go at booting up this laptop. Yeah, and at the back of these books should be a pinout of all of these pins. So if you want know a pin number, for example, so J18, 21, you want to find out where 21 goes to, it will tell you sheet number 11 at 5 and the wire number. So whatever it does, I don't know, just say, but that's, I don't know if that's going to be of much use. It may do, but there is as I said, it is a pin out of all of your plugs. As I said, you can trace things back from the actual plugs themselves. Okay, and that kind of then brings us onto a 3 deck, but before we do that, we're going to go program these devices up, and we'll look at a few other little issues in the program. I think that's going to happen after lunchtime. This is fiddling me about. This really is irritating me.
Program. The CPU.
Firmware.
Firmware. CPU. Right. Yeah, firmware and parameters.
Yeah, it's running. At last. Oh, it's painful. This is painful. Switched off the wireless, that probably be a bit quicker. Because it's got a wireless there, as I said, it's just going and hunting for the internet connection. Everything now, it always wants to update, wants to find this, just wants to know what you're doing all the time. It's getting
Mr.
getting
Gates
as
has
bad
to
as
know.
it's getting as bad as Siemens. Right, okay, so we have a program. So what we're going to do is we're going to
Try not to be in the way.
Yeah. we're going to download a program, but first we need to identify that device. Now USB should automatically install itself.
Right.
It's in USB. Quite accurate. There we go. which it hasn't at the moment. So when we get to this scenario, it's basically what it does. It first uses an old path, and it goes out there and hunts this old path, and then it starts looking for that device. And then when it finds, says, "Oh no, I don't." Oh dear. What twacking thing? Let's turn this wireless off.
And all of this you say is already up there
Mm.
on the maintenance
Yeah,
computer?
yeah. You shouldn't have this type of trouble with up there. Just when you have too many bits of software on your laptop, it just eventually just. Whether it's found, so it hasn't found me. Let's try that again. Yes.
Say doo-doo.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I just detected
There we go. So it should. That's what you should
Yeah.
see on there. It should see your USB. So once we've got that, then we've got a fighting chance of getting into our.
And it might just be because you hooked it all up before we powered up the unit.
Yeah.
So it didn't see nothing
Yeah.
there. You know?
Yeah. Well, this isn't going to be the most exciting program ever, indeed. Well, unless you like suspense, I suppose.
Yeah, this is like putting the firmware in them drives. Yep, cigarette break. We'll be back.
Who's got that cigarette back? I don't lunch break.
Yeah.
It's coming soon to us. Yeah, there you go.
The only way to make it do is to shut